All right, mic check. Can you hear me? Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Can you push a one if you can hear me? Somebody. Can you hear me? Peace, peace. Straight Panther. Can you hear me? Can you push one if you can hear me? Hmm. What about now? Is that better? Okay, good, good, good. Appreciate that. Okay, we'll try this again. So the point of this is just kind of a just a live study session. Gonna be real brief. Um, Thinking about the idea of sex, since that's just such a hot topic now. Well, not because it's a hot topic, but it just so happens that it's a hot topic. You know, the idea of sexuality, um, gender, so forth. So, it makes us go back and just ponder, well, what is the real purpose of there being, you know, uh, a man and a woman? What is the purpose of a relationship? Um, how can it be utilized? Um, what are some of these scriptures talking about when the way they lay these things out? And at first take, they are so demeaning, derogatory, or maybe that's just so it appears. Um, Maybe that's the roughage to deter those who are unworthy from peering a little deeper to know what they really mean. Um, so, along those lines of sex and thinking about relationships and dealing with the idea of two people being able to manifest things through something that they already naturally participate in. And is it something far fetched, or is it something that's already your birthright? And maybe that has to do with the fervor there is now for certain preferences, put it that way. So, one of the first books I read in my journey, um, and this was when I actually read books from cover to cover. Um, I don't too much do that now. It's kind of like a producer who samples. I chop up the sample, you know, and that's how I kind of use my books. I chop up the samples, I repurpose them, use them as reference tools, because I found that when I really just sit down and try to read books, I couldn't remember all the stuff. So, um, but this is introduction, the destruction of black civilization by Chancellor Williams. I know a lot of you all are probably familiar with this book. I want to read something. Um, Very interesting. Now, what's up, Brother Williams? What's interesting is that he's got a section in here called early education. Okay, and he's talking about. First, I want to talk about how he differentiates between how boys were educated and girls. Now, start with the, let me see. He says here, I'll start here. The next grade above childhood was teenage through age 18. These periods, of course, varied in different societies. Now, both training and responsibilities were stepped up. Playtime was either over or very much limited. Education and training became more complex and extensive. The youth's entire future depended upon their performance at this age level. It's very interesting. He or she was marked for success or failure in his second age set that began at age 13. The boy was now required to learn his extended family history and that of his society, the, the geography of the region, names of neighboring states, and the nature of the relations with them. Can y'all still hear me? I hope so. Um, let's see. Uh, of the neighboring states, I remember, and the nature of the relations with them, the handling of weapons, hunting as a skilled art, rapid calculation, clearing the bush for planting, the nature of soils and which kinds grew what best, military tactics, care and breeding of cattle, the division of labor between males and females, bartering tactics, rules of good manners at home and abroad, competitive sports. Okay, let's move to the girls now. Now, listen to what he says. He starts out, he said the girls' age group differed from those of the boys. Introduction to womanhood roles, for example, was earlier. And it makes sense because typically, um, girls mature faster than boys, you know? Um, Introduction to womanhood rules, for example, was early. They had the same intellectual training as the boys. Take note, this was a society that already had so-called gender equality. That wasn't a problem. History, geography, rapid calculation, poetry, music, and dance. The training in child care, housekeeping, gardening, cooking, marketing, social relations with particular stress on good manners. These were some of the essentials in the age grade education and training of young people at this level. Now, now listen up. This is where it gets interesting. It says housekeeping mentioned above does not reveal the important kind of training that came under that heading. For its most important aim was, quote, how to be a successful wife, end quote. An everlastingly desirable wife. Now I want you, let's just pause right there. He says desirable wife. Now this is what we got to ask ourselves. Was this an intelligent civilization that we're talking about? Okay? Let me tell you why we got to ask these questions. Because when you read these New Age books, where is that book at? Where I put that book? Where did I put that book? Hmm. Okay. I'll be right back. What's good, everybody? What's up, Dad? Said technology at its finest. Tell Brianna I said what's good. Oh, there she go. What's up? Straight Panther Brother Williams, everybody. I catch everybody. Appreciate y'all joining in. Um, I hope y'all can hear me. But it's interesting what I just read. Just to recap. Oh shit. I had to close that door. Forgot. Boy, when them babies go to sleep, boy, you ain't trying to wake them up. I'm trying to tell you. You think a hurricane came to Texas? Shit. Tornado. I live with the tornadoes. But I love them though. I'm just tripping. But what it said though, it says that again, I'm going to just read it. It says, housekeeping mentioned above does not reveal the important kind of training that came under that heading. For its most important aim was how to be a successful wife, an everlastingly desirable wife. And where I stopped at before I went to go find this other book is that I said, when you read some of these other books, especially these books in the early 1900s or late 1800s, you have to listen to the language. Just listen to the language, because they use code words. Like, you're talking about the society that Chancellor Williams is describing in this book, and we know this is just not one milieu. It's a overarching society. We're talking about a continent that was full of different countries and tribes, but we're talking about an overarching way of life for that continent, or for these people in these far gone times. Okay. He's talking about an intelligent civilization. Let me read to you how, and that still does not take away from the fact that this is a must-have book. Must-have book. The Metaphysics of Sex. Julius Evola. Yeah, he's a flaming bigot, whatever you want, racist, whatever you want to call it. But I ain't even tripping on that. You know what I'm saying? It's we eat the fish and spit out the bones around here. Give you an example of the language. Let me tell you, this book is original copyright on this book. Let's see, when is it? Original copyright is 1969. This was towards the end of his life. He lived from 1898 to 1874. People get close to about to die, and they try to give up the jewels. Okay, he says, we agree. What he's saying here is that, which I will give him credit for, he's saying that he does not agree with the whole concept of evolution, as far as this Darwinian idea of man emerging from ape. But just listen to this language though, and listen, and look how the choice of words he uses. It says, our premises are totally different. Our starting point will be not the modern theory of evolution, but the traditional doctrine of involution. We do not believe that man is derived from the ape by evolution. We believe that ape is derived from the man by involution. And you got it. He just gave up something right there. All I'm going to say to that is the island of Dr. Moreau, Frankenstein. He just gave Yaku. Listen to what he said. We do not believe that man is derived from the ape by evolution. We believe that the ape is derived from the man by involution. Involution means getting involved. And we could say getting involved into the cycle of time, but within that, is it getting involved with something else and creating? So who is these people wrote in code, and he says we agree with De Maistre that listen, savage peoples are not primitive peoples in the sense of original peoples, but rather the degenerating remains of more ancient races that have disappeared. Now, what's so amazing about this little passage is that it's an insult and the truth all at one time. There's always the use of the word savages. And normally savage is interchangeable with the word primitive. But he wants to denote here that by savage, he's not meaning, because the word prime means one, means first. Okay? So he's saying, I want to make it clear that these savages are not the prime or first people, as in original. They're just degenerate remains, which that's the truth. It is, and that's the whole thing about what they talk about, the titans, the ashes were burnt up and used to create man. The thing about Kengu, in the Mesopotamian mythology, Kengu and Tired, they were cut up and burned, and man was made out of them, original man. So there's an element of truth here, but you see it's woven into a type of language that is demeaning. So what I'm trying to say is, you have to read something like this and pick out the bones, and then you have to have something like this that's written from another perspective to change the outlook of the people you're talking about. Because these were not savage idiots running around with bones in their noses. These were very, very astute. And it's on a different level of being astute. They just had they just had a knowing. It was not a pretentious academic knowing. It was just, they just knew. They just knew. And so that's not savage. That's not savage people. That's an intelligent group of people. Let me read further. He says that in many societies, I'm going back here to Chancellor Williams, in many societies, this training by older women away from the community included the art of exciting sexual intercourse, position variations, cleanliness in the relationship, and in short, the do's and don'ts in intimate relations. Now, this is what I want to ask you. If these are savage people who are just a step above animals, and the whole concept that this guy pushes in this book is that the true purpose of sex is not to have amongst high organisms, is not just to procreate, and it is also not just to relieve an animalistic urge. He's saying it's purposeful. And what's funny is that Chancellor Williams is alluding to the same thing, because look, if the only purpose of the society is to just produce new generations, then why does so much emphasis have to be put on the woman, knowing what to do? When I first read this, I thought it was just some history. But the more I got into studying metaphysics and things, and I circle back to this, no, this is much heavier than what I originally thought. Why is desire so important if your society is only about savage intercourse just for procreation? Why are position variations? What's the purpose of that? You know? Even cleanliness. Savage societies, that's one of the first things that goes is cleanliness. But this was an important part. That's not even an important part of some people's lives in 2019, cleanliness. So, I don't think, my train of thought now is like, I don't think that the idea of two equally yoked individuals committing coitus, having sex, having relations, it is not far-fetched for them to do something more than just have an animalistic outburst or interaction. Are we just savages? To think that a man and a woman cannot come together and produce something that is currently appears to be beyond their sphere of existence and draw it down into existence. I just don't see how that's so far-fetched. The man said that desire, he used words like desire. He used words like the art of exciting sexual intercourse, position variations, cleanliness, the do's and don'ts. If you're only thinking about procreation, hell, the only thing you need to know is how to put it in and deposit the semen. This is a society that's beyond that. And what got all this thinking started is I was pondering on the scripture, which is funny. It's funny, I listened to a live tonight. And I swear some of these people on YouTube, I think they're like little voyeurs. You know, these people, you think that people just got platforms way bigger than yours, that they don't be watching like little small fries like people like myself. But I beg to differ. I think people do. And I think I trigger some of them. It's beautiful. But either way, somebody was talking about this guy talking about the Nephilim, and it's amazing for people to be so awake and metaphysical. They still have very biblical ideas of certain concepts. You know, that these fallen ones came down, and they still have very biblical outlooks. A lot of people are very closed-minded, and let me say this, it's a thin line between confidence and arrogance. I'm a big proponent and promoter of confidence, but arrogance is actually kind of like a opposite to confidence. Confidence is a knowing, arrogance is a fear. Arrogant people are fearful. It's a little cupcake eating little child that just is scared. Confidence is kind. Confidence is open. Confidence is receptive. It's mutable. Arrogance is very fixed, because fear congeals, just like ice is congealed water, frozen. That's what fear does, it freezes. But anyway, it's not good enough for me just to have this idea of the Nephilim, especially when I know that the doctor, the kidney doctor, is called a nephrologist. So why wouldn't I then take my time to remove maybe my Christian cloak of understanding, although I position myself to be so much deeper than everybody else. Why don't I remove that Christian cloak and just kind of just dig into the Nephilim? So I kind of started probing, but I was more concerned because the Neph, that's easy, that traces right back, to the kidney. But what's interesting is the daughters. That's a word you can't find a whole lot on when you just look through like Indo-European etymology. But when you go to Hebrew, illumination, and this is where the journey began. And that's why I ended up getting this. The bat. It's my little rubber bat. I was gonna take this off, this thing, but I feel like it's the golden fleece. So I was like, I'm not gonna remove that. I'm gonna leave it. We got a little consignment store called Lullabies, and they got a couple locations in Dallas. Daughter, the reason I pulled the bat out is because if you were on my live earlier, a lady who watches named Anessa, she was talked about a dream. It was something to do with some bats. I thought that was interesting because it's like I've been on this whole bat kick. Because when I start tracing down daughter, it first goes back to bat. Now bat can be bath or it could be bet, which or Beth, house. But it also means to build, obtain children, make, repair, set up. Now, what's very interesting is then when you start tracking down the word daughter, the next thing I came up on was daughter tracked back to a Hebrew word, kala. Didn't I say something about kalas earlier? Ganas, Russas, Tamas, Ojas. Okay, kala, a bride, son's wife. Kal-El, to complete, make perfect. Ain't that Superman's name? Kal-El? That's interesting. Kala. Don't that sound familiar? Kala. Kali. Now look close at this picture. That's hideous, ain't it? But look close at it. You see around her waist are arms, and they have hands attached to them. Okay? Those are, any extension on your body is considered symbolically a phallus. Those arms are phalli, and the phalanges or fingers. That's why phallus, finger, phalange. There's a reason why they have the same initiatory sound, because that's what they all are. Those are dicks hanging around her waist. Those heads are suttas. You know, in the Quran, suttas. Sutta means chapter. Chapters are heads. Kali is the book of life. She is the vital force. Blood. See? Blood. She has beheaded a man. He has ejaculated. She has received his essence. She's illuminated. One of the words that we get from daughter again is kala. 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 Kali. Kali. Okay. When we go and just then I went after that, I said, okay, this is how my mind works. I always got to play devil's advocate with myself. I say, okay, Jamal, you're stretching it. You're trying to say that bat or bath is actually referring to the bat, the animal. I said, you're going to have to prove that and not just try to make them fit just to fit your narrative. So what I did was I went down and looked, and what I'm using here, all this stuff I'm referring to is this. You need to have you one of these. That's the Strong's Concordance. You need to have this one and get you an older one. But this is excellent. It breaks down it gives you a very extensive list of extensions to the, root of words that are related. Okay. So that's what I'm using here. So I then just went up and looked up the word bat by itself. And bat comes back to the word atayef that can be pronounced atalif. Arabic is atayef. In the middle of the word you have aleph. Aleph. So aleph is, when you look at it in the Hebrew script, aleph almost looks like an X. So then what I did next was, I hope y'all stand with this, I'm just trying to show how my mind pieces things together. It's detective work. Okay? I get these things pop up in my mind and it sends me on these missions. So what I did was I went to this book. Okay, this book here is called Dictionary of Symbols. It's by his name, I think is J.E. Serlo, something like that. Yeah, J.E. Serlo. Let me find where bat. That ain't the one I want. Okay. In talking about the bat, they got a section in here called inversion. I want to read some of it for you. It says, according to Snyder, the continuity of life is assured by the mutual sacrifice which is consummated on the peak of the mystic mountain. Death permits birth. All opposites are for an instant fused together and then inverted. That is constructive. What is constructive turns to destruction. Love turns to hate, evil to good, unhappiness to happiness, so on. He goes further to say, I'm going to skip down. It says the numerical expression of inversion seems to be 2 and 11. Symbols of inversion are the double spiral, the hourglass, the drum shaped like an hourglass, St. Andrew's cross, the letter X. Okay, now my spidey senses is going do because I'm getting a little excited because I'm thinking, okay, I found some evidence now, because what did I just say? That when you look up bat in Hebrew, it comes back to the word atalef, and in the word atalef you have aleph. Aleph is the first letter Hebrew, and it looks like an X. Okay, so it says St. Andrew's Cross, the letter X, the quiver of arrows, and in general, all that is X shaped. So now I'm thinking about X-Men. I'm thinking about, you know, all the, all these things, the cross, so forth. Hence, the superstitious act of crossing the fingers is tantamount to tempting fate. And similarly, crime is a feature of many desperate rites. Um, Either way, it also goes on to say that the hangman in the tarot deck is synonymous with the bat. All right. So now that gave me some type of more comfortable feeling about this correlation that I was trying to make between bet and bat. Okay, that gives me enough confidence to keep going down this road. So then, as I kept going, I found, I don't even know if I wrote it down in my I know I had it written down in one of these sets of notes, but it was I remembered, I got it committed to memory though. Either way, that as you keep digging into the word bat, it extends to um, bet or bath rabin. Okay, and that is translates into daughter of the multitude. Okay, when I think of the bat hanging upside down, daughter of the multitude, now we're starting to see these correlations. We had the story of Persephone and or Demeter and her daughter Persephone, who has to go to the underworld with Hades or Pluto um, for a certain period of the year. Okay, um, we see all of the stories of the hero or the heroine going into the underworld. The story of Batman himself, he lives in a cave in the underworld. But Bet Rabin is Batman and Robin. So then, okay, now I'm feeling comfortable that I'm on the right track. So now I got to go back to the original story, and I got to look at this and say, let me just let's just go to the story here, the brief account in Genesis. It gives a greater account in the book of Enoch. Um, but this one here says, there were giants in the earth in those days. Stop right there. There were giants in the earth. The Mayan have a Batman. Ain't that some shit? Okay. Appreciate that. I gotta look into that. Mm. There were giants in the earth. Now we've heard C. Freeman L. was the person that I think is the first person I heard get his code, that earth is heart. So there were giants in the heart. Now I'm gonna tell you what's so significant about that, because the heart and the liver in some regards are considered to be synonymous. Okay, but let's keep going. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also that when the sons of God came in. Now, this is where I want to go again. Take another pause. Sons of God. Now let's go back to the Nephilim, because that's what they're called. We know we trace Nephilim back to Hebrew. Nephilim traces back itself to Naphtali, okay, and it means my wrestling. And you said you got the story in Genesis where Jacob wrestled with God. Well, if Naphtali means wrestle, and it comes from Nephilim, nephrology, so let's go ahead and take scholastic liberty and say there was something going on in Jacob's kidneys. Now maybe we're not talking about an actual man named Jacob. We're talking about something going on inside of the body of Israel. or inside of you, the temple, Solomon's temple, you. Okay? Here's why you want to have different Bibles. There's a set of scriptures in the Bible. In certain Bibles, they're just going to say kidneys or heart, or in some they're going to say mind. And there's a reason for different translations of the Bible. It's because it's about language. What they're trying to hide is language. Certain ones will give you, it is chakra-rise. I'm gonna tell you how that relates to the kidneys. Okay, hold on. I'm glad you said that, Yoel. I'm glad you said that. Let me. It is talking about chakra or kundalini rising, and we're going back to this book here, Metaphysics of Sex. Interesting you said that. We said Jacob wrestled with God, right? Okay. In the direct evidence provided by certain lovers, we quite often find situations that recall what we said earlier about the hebephrenic case reported by Morrow. Accounts of trying to prolong the sexual spasm beyond a given limit by persistent stimulating procedures speak of the unbearable feeling of a power, quote, like that of electricity, end quote, which rises from the kidneys and runs along the backbone with a tendency to go upward. That's Kundalini. Now, notice mention of the kidneys. See? You see how it's like it's detective work. I'm building the case. All right? So we got Naphtali means wrestling. Jacob wrestled with God. So then we got to wonder, is this really talking about sexual intercourse? Let me grab another. Like I was saying earlier, why it's good to have different versions of the Bible. This one is called the Young's Literal Translation of the Bible. Young's Literal Translation of the Bible. Let me get my bag. We're gonna come back to this. Just look at it. Now when it's hanging upside down and it's, look at that. And then when it opens up, just think about this. Does it almost look like something? We'll come back to that. Let me put this. Let me look up something real quick, because I don't remember which scripture. Hey, come on, man. Okay, Revelations 2:23. I'm gonna get this companion Bible. Let's see what it's got in here. Revelation. Let's see what it says in Revelations 2:23. No. I want Job. That's where it was. It was in Job. Job 16:13. There we go. Job. Went too far. 16:13. Come on now. Yeah. 16:13. Oh, it got it in here. It's got it. It says, his archers compass me round about. He cleaveth my reins asunder, and doth not spare. He poureth out my gall upon the ground. He gallbladder, gall holds bow. Okay? You got to go back and watch the Dark Knight movie. Okay. Okay. Rinds. So rinds mean kidneys. Rinds connects back to the Hebrew word kilyah, which is kidney. What's so interesting now, this is what I did. One day I was driving, I had found this scripture, okay? And I would say this is like some type of, divine alignment right here. We're in Dallas. I'm driving, and I see uh, um, I see a building. I want to see if I can find this name because it was called Rhinos. There you go. It was called Salon del Reino. That's the um, that's the Spanish rendering of Kingdom Hall. That's what they call it. Where the Jehovah's Witnesses meet. Kingdom Hall, right? The Spanish version is Salon de Reino. Okay, so I had discovered that Rhines meant kidney, and I'm seeing the same word, Rein. So it it just so happens that kingdom is rhino in Spanish. So now you got to think, thy will be done, thy kingdom come on earth as it is, thy kingdom come on earth as it is in kingdom. Rhino, rinds mean kidneys. There's a whole nother layer of stuff going on. And it's funny, I hear people, this guy talk tonight with such definitive nature about what he's saying. Everybody else is so stupid. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I used to like this guy. But what I do notice, he thinks that the people who watch his lives and things are beneath him. He talks down to them. Never actually, like what I'm doing right now, never does this. I'm gonna give you some sources because I'm confident. I'm not arrogant. It's a difference. It's a difference. I'm not scared of any of you knowing more than me. I don't care. It is I just enjoy this. I enjoy digging. I enjoy searching. And these are rewards for me, That's what it is, you know. But I don't like arrogance. I don't like it, you know. And it makes you look like an idiot. And you talk like you're so. And what's funny, he brings these two white guys on his show, and he acts like a little humble little church mouse, just a grinning, And I just love the way you. And he gets on there and he becomes all belligerent with all us common folk. I find it funny. I find it fake. And if he's one of these voyeurs who watch my channel, he knows I'm talking about him. It's fake. And when you're humble, this is the type of stuff you get. You get deeper stuff. It ain't just I figured out the conspiracy and no, there's jewels hidden. So then when I said Rhino is kingdom, so I went down. I got a Spanish dictionary back here, and then what I went to find is that Rhino becomes rays, because I think the I wrote it down. Let me not sit here and make an ass out myself. I wrote it down. I think this is a pad I wrote it on. Yeah, Spanish, riñón, reinos, or kidney in Spanish is riñón. Um, Kingdom is reino. Um, King is rey. Okay. Now here's where I'm going with this. We already know when you see sons in the Bible that son and sun are interchangeable. Okay, sons. What do sons or the sun? What does it give off? Rays. In Spanish, king singular is rey. So that means kings would be reyes. Reyes, rays. The sons are sun rays, which gives further evidence that the Nephilim are talking about your kidneys. Rays, rhino, rinds, kidneys, Nephilim, nephrologist, nephrology, kidneys. Okay, Brianna said, there are a few other psalms that say, I give the rinds and the heart to God, the two cords that run up your body to source. Facts. Facts. Okay, so then, once I got that squared away, so we're talking about as above, so below. We're talking about something actually going on inside, a drama inside of the human body. It has these metaphysical implications. Then it makes you wonder that with the adrenals sitting on top of the kidneys and how fear naturally causes adrenal secretion, and how too much adrenal secretion harms the kidneys, it makes sense why we see such things in the media. Even when you see your image destroyed, it causes an adrenal secretion. What I'm trying to say is, I think we've been, like, we need to really go back and reassess what Bible study is and just go back to the book. Not from being, I shouldn't even have to explain. I'm not explaining no more. I'm not explaining to try to take a half anybody. What I'm saying is there's a lot of stuff in here. Because now I'm thinking, okay, I'm going back to the metaphysics. The daughter. Kidney still ties to daughter. It still ties to bat that hangs upside down. Okay? So now I'm thinking about the fallen daughter. And that's when I went back to the whole Persephone and Demeter, or Demeter and Persephone. I get them back. Demeter the mother, Persephone, the fallen daughter, the Shekinah being the fallen daughter. Okay? So then we know if there's a fallen daughter, there has to be an exalted mother. And so now the rest is all it's ABC for me the rest of the way, because I already know that the concept of the daughter coincides with the mother, and then automatically I'm going Isis. But Isis, where did I read that? Where did I, man, I don't even think, I hope I marked this page. Oh man, I just now looked at. No, 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 no. This ain't the one. Here's the one. Okay? Because remember, I'm still talking about sex. This is still sex education, study session, so forth. Okay? ISIS, it says here, which I did not highlight. So now I gotta skim over this. Good thing it's just big old print. Wheat. Where is that at? I'll be damned. Bear with me. Okay. Osiris Isis, as the great Keber of Egypt, was said to have revealed wheat by producing it. Okay, remember that. I'm going to read something else. And this is, I'm reading from Celestial Ship of the North. This is by E. Valencia Scranton, I think Scranton. Okay. Now, this one says, Osiris is the reputed discoverer of the vine, which is seen in decans of Virgo, and Isis, virgin of this sign, was the discoverer of wheat, branches of wheat of which she carries in her hand. Wheat is the symbol of the seed, and generation of life is from the seed. The wine or the grape has an emblem of wisdom and knowledge. Okay, earlier I think I said something about the woman is the teacher, because we were talking about Chancellor Williams. We talked about how the girls received higher education. Yeah, it's worth checking out. The girls received higher education, and I'm saying because we know girls mature faster than boys, okay? And the girls were learning about sex rights. It's not a lot of mention about the boys learning a whole lot. It's the girls. Now just go back, especially you men, go back to your earlier years. How do you learn to have sex? It's from a woman. That don't feel right. Don't do that. That hurt. Move over. Down a little bit. They school you. They are the original MapQuest. They tell you where to go. Over here, up, down, side, until you start to build up a memory of, okay, I know this angle, da 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 da. You know what I mean? It's natural for a society to place emphasis on training women in this nature because they're naturally going to be in that role to teach the man anyway. Now, what does that have to do with ISIS cultivating wheat or teaching the cultivation of wheat? I'm glad you asked that. I guess I'll just go to the books. I know I got these notes somewhere. I don't feel like flipping pages. There's cause what I want to get to, yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So basically, this is what else has been going on with this. Running parallel to this, I've been really digging into the Sephiroth, Netzik, and Hod on the Tree of Life. And the sphere of Netzik means victory. So what I want to do is, or what I've been doing is, each spear pick the word apart, you know, to really figure out what it, and it gives more understanding about what the essence of the energy. What is it really? Um, so the word that coincides with Nexic is victory. So once I got a word that was like you know, a concrete English word, so then it could give me the leverage to start digging into it. Okay, so I dig into the word victory, and the primary root is white, Whight, white for victory. Okay, white um, means brave, and white then traces further back to Old Nordic Vite, Vigt. I can't even read my writing, man. That's um, and Vite also coincides with vigor, Vigr, fighting fit. Um, so then what helped me out is I got these other two language books. I stumbled across these at an old bookstore, the Interpretation of Language, volumes 1 and 2. And see, and this is what broke it for me. I got as far as I could go there with victory, going back to white. It just so happened that this book goes in depth about the word white. And it says again, going back to the old Nordic race, white coincides with the word thing, and thing coincides with phallus and phallus worship. Thing becomes kasa, kasa kosa, kosa saka, as in sake. So when you hear Jesus died for your sake or your sins, your sake, he died for your dick, he died for your phallus. He lived so that you may live. What they're talking about is the word daughter also traces back, or no, excuse me. The word wife comes from the Hebrew word Issa, okay? And it's the word fire traces back to the Hebrew word Issa. The name for Jesus in Arabic is Issa. So now we got a through line going: the wife, the fire, Christ. Makes sense? So sake. It said here in the celestial ship of the north that Isis cultivates the wheat. It says wheat is the symbol of the seed, the phallus, because the phallus what carries the seed, but the seed that is carrying is actually Isis. It's her. She takes on the form of the Christ or the fire. She's the fire that's embedded in the seed that's carried inside of the phallus. She gives herself to Osiris so that Osiris can give her back to her. Sex. So that's that. That's where I went with that. Let's see, what else was I? Oh, I didn't get to the main thing. What the book also did was it showed the correlation between the word wheat, white, and thing. Because if you take away the vowels, you have WHT, wheat, WHT. You take away the vowels, you have WHT, GHT or WHT for white. And white coincides to what? Thing. Thing is phallus. So we go back again to the original story in Genesis, which I think is a story that gives an introduction to the concept of man and woman cohabitating on a higher level than just an animalistic act of bumping and grinding. It says, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. Now, men in Hebrew, I think I wrote this down somewhere. I don't know if I got the Hebrew written down. I'm sure I do, but I'm sure I don't know where I wrote it. Let's play it like that. How about that? Yeah, I ain't write that shit down. At least I can't put my finger on it right now. It don't matter. Men, mind. And we just take it from a Indo-European standpoint. Men is mind, and they bear children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Renown. Men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And we have to dig into that one. But the main point we're dealing with 4, verse 4, is we're talking about kidneys. We're talking about kidneys. And so it turns out that the kidneys and the liver are mentioned a lot in scriptures and so forth. And they play an integral role in the act of sex. I already talked about the liver. The liver is the seat of the desire body, or it's the interface with the desire body. So the attraction then, on one level, when we talk about the sons of God, it seems like there's a relationship going on of forces, and a template of them are inside of the body. Because when we look at the tree of life, we come down the tree, and when you get to Netzach and Hod, it's the hip, loins, and girdle. And I got to read again, see what the because above that would be Hesed and Gabor, which is 4 and 5. Tifereth would be in the middle. Now, when we go back to the bat to me is 4, 5, Tifereth in the middle, 7, 8 on the bottom. That's the X. That's the inversion. That's where the upper world gets flipped down into the lower triad. 6 is the convergent point between the upper portion of the tree and the lower portion. Lower portion would be Netzach, Hod. Yesod would be the phallus, and then Malkuth at the very bottom. So what I'm thinking is that hip girdle, not too high above that area, are the kidneys. So it seems like that area in the tree, we could say that's kidney like energy. I could be stretching. But we do know with the adrenals on the kidneys that they have a role in sex. Because when kidney function is retarded, there can be, at the same time, not saying that it's a direct cause, but at the same time, you typically can have some erectile dysfunction. If the liver is too fatty, you can have some form of erectile dysfunction. And it's interesting because Hesed or Netzik and Hod, which Spear 7 and 8, they feed into Yesod. That's the lower triangle. It's very interesting. Keeping going, I went and picked up this Upanishad. Just picked the book up on some Bobby Hemmett shit. Picked the book up like he said, and I swear on everything holy, and stumbled on page 240. I did like this, and I said okay. And I'm thinking I'm trying to do some Bobby shit to see if I can open the thing up and it go to what I'm looking for. I'll be damned. Let me read what because I have not read much of the Upanishads. I got it, or abridged versions, but I ain't read these shits, man. I opened this up, it said, I'm gonna just pick up, because the shit is like it's in riddles, but you can pick up some stuff. Now the knowledge of the from the Brahman. I'm trying to think where I want to start at. Because it's like an ongoing story. It's hard to just... Okay, let's start here. The king said, "Please do not be offended with us, even as your paternal grandfather was not offended with ours. Before now, this knowledge never rested with a Brahmin, but I shall teach it to you, for who can refuse you when you speak like this? Yonder world is the sacrificial fire. The sun is its fuel. The rays, kidneys, its smoke. The day its flame, the four quarters its cinders, and the intermediate quarters its sparks. In this fire the gods offer faith as libation. Out of that offering King Moon is born. Parjanya, the god of rain. O Gautama, is the fire. The year is its fuel. The cloud its smoke, lightning its flame, the thunderbolt its cinders, the rumbling its sparks. In this fire the gods offer King Moon as libation. Out of that offering rain is produced." Now just look what's going on. Our first libation produced the moon. The second libation produced rain. Third one, this world, O Gautama, is the fire. The earth is its fuel, fire its smoke, night its flame, the moon its cinders, the stars its sparks. In this fire the gods offer rain as libation. Out of that offering food is produced. Man, O Gautama, is the fire. The open mouth is its fuel, the vital breath its smoke, speech its flame, the eye its cinders, and the ear its sparks. In this fire the gods offer food as libation. Out of that offering semen is produced. Very interesting. Women, O Gautama, is the fire. Her sexual organ is the fuel. The hairs, the smoke. The vulva. Oh, I say vulva and shit start falling down. The vulva. The mighty vulva. The vulva, the flame. Sexual intercourse, the cinders, fire. Enjoyment, the sparks. In this fire, the gods offer semen as libation. Out of this offering, a man is born. He lives as long as he is to live. Then, when he dies, they carry him to be offered in the fire. The fire becomes his fire. The fuel is his fuel. The smoke is his smoke. The flame his flame. The cinders his cinders, and the sparks his sparks. In this fire, the gods offer the man his libation. Out of this offering, the man emerges in radiant splendor. Now, let's back up now to our dear Kabbalistic studies. And let's go here. Let's see what a must-have if you're interested in studying Kabbalah. A must-have. Dion Fortune. She knows her Kabbalah, and she writes. She gives voluminous descriptions. You know, you get some of these new books that are just trying to sell money, and it's a bunch of double talk. But her shit is thorough. Okay. One thing about the Sephira Netzik, I think it's not Netzik. I think it's opposite is Hod. I think Hod. Yeah, it's Hod. I get to, you probably don't know what the hell is he talking about. Yeah, I'm babbling. Okay, check this out. Let's go back to the Upanishads. And I was reading out of the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. You know, Upa means evil. Upa. But evil means a precious jewel. That's what the real meaning of evil. Upal. Oval, upal, precious jewel. Okay, he says, out of this offering the man emerges in radiant splendor. Splendor. Keep that word in mind, because there's a Kabbalistic book called the Zohar. It is the book of splendor. It's not far-fetched that all of these things are one big long string running, you know? People get into all these tizzies and arguments about they got it all figured out. And come on, man. Humble yourself, young man. And here, when she's breaking down Hod, she says spiritual experience as one of the aspects of understanding the energy, vision of splendor. Vision of splendor. Hod. All this did for me was take me full circle to verify that we, through a natural action of having sex, man, you with your woman, woman, you with your man, that something was coded into us to be able to do something with that other than just fulfill an urge, or to just try to create copies of ourselves. I mean, let's just think. What other reasons do people have sex? To fulfill an urge or to procreate? And ask ourselves, is that all that we're supposed to do? Is that all we're capable of? Do I have to be fucking Aleister Crowley to cohabitate with my woman and shift our reality to be what it wants to be through our cohabitation? Is that so fucking far-fetched? Think about that. Is it so far out? Netzik is a sphere of intellectual, no, excuse me, imaginative burst. Hold is the sphere of contraction by focusing intellect. One is more of a right brain application, the other is more of a left brain application. Netzik coincides with the planet Venus, beauty. The symbol that goes along with Netzik is the naked woman. Naked means subtle. The naked woman would be the Shekinah. It would mean, okay, this is tickling the sphere outside of this general sphere. It's tickling it. It is the it is the initial spark, the imagination, the just the picture. Hold is the actual prefrontal cortex, intellectual contemplation or conscious contemplation of the imaginative image. It's pure Hegelian. It is two supposed opposites converging at a point. That's a very simplistic explanation. But what Netzik and Hold function in is the plane of desire. There's Kether, there's Hokmah Bina, plane of spirit. There's Hesed, there's Gabor, there's Tiferet, plane, mental plane. Its virtue is truth. Spirit is, according to fortune, is right and wrong, which is the initial illusion of duality. The mental is truth, the astral is beauty, and that is Netzik and Hold coming down to Hesed. That's the astral. Malkuth, physical. Pentacles, this is swords, spirit. Hold on, I think, because I need to review that too. Let's look at this. Wands, cups, swords, pentacles. Swords, mental plane. Valor, the Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups, Seven of Swords, Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles, that's obvious, earth. Swords, see, I would associate swords with mental plane, but I think she's saying swords is goes along with the astral. Yeah, she puts cups on the mental, wands on the spiritual. Either way, the cohabitation between the man and the woman through sex is dealing with Netzik and Hold. The document, and mind you what I'm trying to say, I come up with shit and just it's been this way all my life. I come up with things, and I think it's this way with probably a lot of you who into this stuff. Is you already know, but you didn't know that you knew. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm only I'm kind of new to really these spheres and really getting into the energy and really like I done studied them, but now it's like we in the point of really understanding them. That's what this means. I don't even think you can see it. Wisdom is when you understand what previously you only knew. What previously you only knew. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like it's that phase now. But I think with a lot of you, it's like, man, it's like you read things like, man, I know this, I know it, because I'm reading this stuff and here it's like, man, that's what that is, you know, that's what that is. I've always been one to experiment. I like to experiment with shit, try shit out. Why not? You know? And a lot of it had to do with how you eat. You know? Are you closed minded with your food? You know, won't try nothing. You know, just eat the same old shit. You know, your tongue is another example of a phallus. You know? It needs experience. Let it experience different foods. You know? Ooh. Peach. You know, different flavors and so forth. It's everything's a somewhat sexual experience, you know. And when you expand your taste buds, it expands your thought plane, your horizon, your creativity. Everything's connected. Everything's connected, you know. So I feel like I've always been a pretty open-minded person, and that really, you know, some shit I ain't doing now. I got my, but you know, it's good to be adventurous. This is Think and Grow Rich, original edition 1937, and it's a must-have for just this chapter, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation. I'm not gonna read it, but just to show you, somebody was writing about this in 1937. Occult Anatomy in the Occult Anatomy in the Bible, 1939 or somewhere in there, talking about the desire body and alluding to sex. Dion Fortune in here, when she talks about Netzik and Hode, she's talking about sex, and they're very cautious. And I could see them, and like, my God, people are still like Quakers and Anabaptists right now talking about sex. So my God, in 1930 something, this was it's good to have access to ancient stuff when ancient people ain't got access to it. Because I mean, it give you that's a pretty big jump. You talking about 80 something, and further back, we talking about 100 and something year jump. But so what? Now we know. Now we know. Now we're learning more about what we're capable of doing with these vessels that we have incarnated into. There's more we can do, you know? Which leads me to this. Which leads me to this. If you have not got this yet, then you need to get it. the originals are now rewriting the manuals because it's ours. The originals. We're rewriting. We're rewriting the manuals. You know, you want to get this because something, a very powerful time of the year is coming up, and if you're not familiar with Diwali, you need to get familiar real quick. I think this one is awesome. Sunday, October 27th is Diwali, and it is veneration of the goddess Lakshmi. Let me see if they the official time. I don't know. Let's see what time zone this is in. It don't matter. Either way, it's a 5-day celebration from October 25th to the 29th. The grand festival falls on the 27th. What is significant about that is that the 27th is a new moon. It's a new moon. So Lakshmi is a goddess of prosperity. Let's see, my Lakshmi. I used to have her right up there. I move so much stuff around. But either way, we're gonna hook it up before the 27th. You know, you just go and read online about some things. You know, you wanna set candles at your window, white candles. You can open your windows up. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful fall ceremony, you know, or just ritual, if we want to use, let's say, arrangement. It's a beautiful fall arrangement. You know, that crisp air come through your house. You know, the first Diwali festival I interacted with was a tumultuous time. You know, dealing with some stuff and kind of a fearful time for me, to be honest. You know, and sometimes that's the best time to see things and to be convinced of, like, the power of what we can't see with our eyes. Put it that way. You know, so read up on that. But it's on a new moon. It's on a new moon. This document right here is set up to implement something that you're actually going to design, but you're going to use these tools and this template to do it. And this is a great time, great opportunity. It's worth reading. I'm gonna tell you that it's worth reading, because all this nerd shit that I've gone through here for almost 2 hours. This is when I have time. This is the type of stuff I love doing. I love digging, but I just don't sit and comb through books. I like to experiment in my own laboratory, in my own way. I'm not doing anything that somebody tells me to do just because they say do it. I like to be in control. So I design my own experiments, you know, and I think that's the way it should be. So this is not something to be used as, okay, I suppose, like when you get some toys for your kids and they make it so difficult to put together, and you gotta just read all the instructions, like, okay, I gotta put this arm, click, oh shit, I got it on backwards. Damn, I'm gonna have to get some damn pliers to squeeze this fitting out. It's not that. It's not that. It is, uh, it is a set of helpmeets. uh, they are. It's a primer. It helps you prepare the vessel. You're the vessel. You are the vessel. All the other external things are mimicking you. You're the vessel. It's a tool to help you prepare yourself. It's not tricks. It's not tricks. It's not David Copperfield. It is literature that it's just good to refer back to. Okay? And this is a perfect time to put it to use and to really boost your confidence. You boost your confidence through discipline. Like I said earlier, you need a discipline. This will help you develop. It's a discipline. There's a disciplined set of actions in here that are recommended. And all of the peripheral things, you set them up as your imagination directs you, but confidence is the key. Confidence is the key, and knowledge begets confidence, as well as disciplined action. I'm not going to show you the front of this, but I'll show you. Get you a book. Get your book, and you're going to write in it. You're going to write something in it, and even if you have a fucked up day, you're going to have to do your homework. You still got to write in it. It's just like I tell people with food. You on an eating plan. You messed up today. Okay. What can happen is people can mess up one day and be like, oh man, just fuck it, man. Just fuck it. I'm just gonna really but that's not how things have to go. We're human. You have a messed up day. It's like, damn, I didn't write in my book. Guess what? You can time travel. You can time travel back to the day before. All you gotta do, they do it all the time, and accountant, everybody else cooking the books, backdating stuff, post-dating and everything else, cooking the books. You can cook your books. The key is to remain disciplined. Because here's the thing now. The thing now is, to have you question everything about yourself. Everything. Like, man, and it's not in a philosophical, deep way. It is shattering. People are being shattered intentionally. So we got to take measures to start doing things to control our reality, and not just be pawns. Control your reality. Every person has the right, unless they have become harmful to others around them, you deserve the right to control your own reality. Do you not? Don't you and your mate have the right to control you all's reality? I don't care about nobody else's world. I don't. Because you know why? Like my daddy said, I didn't have the pleasure of creating them. So those are outside of that sphere. And then the thing is because I don't have say so in nobody else's reality, but I do want to control mine. And you should want to control yours. So as new discoveries come about, or new interpretations of old realities are congealed, then, you know, take advantage of it. Hit me up, info@mastersofthecosmos.com, and let me know that you want one of these little brief little guide manuals, I guess, if you want to call it that. It's not a manual, it's a help meet. It's a help meet. About 5,500 words. Not a real long read, but it's good information in there. And I think everyone should take advantage of this Diwali festival and this new moon. I think you should take advantage of it. This document is $11.11. You're not buying a motherfucking car or a house. Please don't email me if you know you don't want to get the document. My God, come on, $11. And I'm not trying to say, hey, you know, like you need, but don't email me if you ain't got 11 fucking dollars, you know. So, but if you're serious and you are a person who likes to actually apply what you learn, this is a good tool to have. All right. I think that's just gonna about wrap it up. You know, it just was a there's so much more. You know, I guess the point was just a stream of thought. Wow. Dap said there's 11 people in the chat. Let's see what all going on. In Book of Dead Kidneys are linked that way. In the Book of Dead Kidneys. Okay. Also, its older name. We got the studious group in here. These are the people who actually fucking study. I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all's input, tuning in. Anybody got any questions? Comments? Stay hydrated. My next journey I'm going on is the significance of these colors. Really want to look at, and all this stuff ties in together. Oshun and the yellow, you know, and all these yellow fluids that the body produces, urine, snot, bile, in some regards, yellowish, cerebral spinal fluid. You know what I'm saying? It's just, oh man, the mysteries are just unending. It's unending. It's so great to stay in that student mode, you know, and I'm confident, like I say, but I remain humble. People that might seem like a contradiction, it's not. True, confident people are humble, you know. Just stay hungry, just like, oh, I want to know. But I'm confident that I will know, that I can continue to expand, You know, it's sad to look at people and you see that mindset of, oh, I'm there, I got it. And I tell you, me and Dad was watching this cat tonight. You know, my man got some, my man's troubled. You know, um, he's got something happen. He's really upset and jaded because, and I think it's about his main gig that he really wanted to do, and it just seemed like it ain't never really. He's got this axe to grind. Like, man, you know, if you're gonna talk about magic, well, motherfucker, be a magician. You know, we're talking about, at this point, we've talked a lot about the problems and the issues. At a certain point, I become an albatross if I constantly remind you of, you know, um, how fucked up the world is, but I don't have any recourse that I'm like, well, this is what I'm doing in response, you know, or this is what I'm going to do regardless of whether the world's fucked up or not. I'm going to control my reality. You know, you think about it, too much constant conspiracy talk is the same freezing energy that shuts down these kidneys and shuts off libido, which then prevents us from fully actually realizing, is a better word, the potential of what we can do with our mates. Look, I'm telling you, I'm pushing for couples to flourish, you know. Um, what can we do? What can we do? When two or three are gathered, there shall I be in the midst. What can we do when we work together? And I'm telling you, it's a hard thing. Cause I too got a motherfucking ego. And it's crazy. I'm arguing with my wife one day and we driving and I'm coming down the street and there's a fucking barbershop over there with the sign that says ego. 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 It's a motherfucker. Ego. You know? I don't like feeling vulnerable. I don't like not being in complete control of my situation. I hate it. I loathe the idea of not being in control. But you have to learn how to relinquish what control you think you need to gain the control that you really want. I think I need to say that again so I can remember that shit. Because I think it was kind of heavy. You need to relinquish the control you think you need. No. I think a better way to say it, relinquish the control that you think you want so that you can get the control that you really need. There we go. There we go. And then see, that's going back to the whole relationship piece. It's about having the right person to make that sacrifice for. Everything's sacrificial offering. Think about that. What's a real sacrificial offering? These terms they use in church are really manifestation terms because they're working magic in church. Please believe it. Just that the people don't know. Sacrificial offering is what you're giving to your mate. You know, it's tough. It's tough. And we got a lot of stuff out here pulling against us to have cohesive relationships, even amongst friends, you know, but on a greater level between you and your mate. There's a lot of stuff pulling. Everything's set up. The economy, the the workloads, the traffic, the grocery prices, gas prices. At the end of the day, stressors can put stress on your relationship because it stretches the both of you. And if you can't figure out a way to work things out amongst each other, you're dead in the water. You're dead in the water, you know? So I think we really need to be focusing on tools to figure out how to flourish together instead of just a bunch of bullshit. I'm mad at the world, and I got an axe to grind. I got a pulpit or a soapbox to sit on. And no, it's like, man, you know, there are some of us out here who actually are producing things of value. We're talking about actually legacy, leaving things, you know, literature is important. It's important. This is a form of literature. Literature. It's not in, you know, polished, form like this, but it's literature. And you never know who you're writing for, you know. When I write and take notes in my book, I'm planning for death. I'm planning on my children. Right now, my father, you see him sitting back there up there on the Watchman, but he transitioned 5 years ago. But I'm still living in his look. This is Henry Robinson. Look, that's his influence. That's his influence. You know, still very present. And some of these books back here are some of his old books. Do you know how priceless it is to go through and read your father's thoughts? Well, what did he think about Blavatsky? You go on his Ice is Unveiled and see his notes that he was taking. Like damn, how lonely was he in 1980 something, dealing with this type of stuff in Asheville, North Carolina, where most niggas, it's like the height of their life is becoming a member of the damn Elks Club or something, and getting a job at Grove Park Inn, working at the country club. And you somewhere reading Blavatsky, So I try to pay it forward. I jot down notes in my books. I got 4 kids. At least one of them gonna follow in daddy's footsteps. It's gonna continue this journey of working our way back home. Because your ancestors really are rooting for you. They're rooting for you. You're in a time where you have access to so much more. I got access to so much more than my father had. And my God, my children already, my oldest daughter, 12, she already contemplating like heavy shit. And ask stuff, and I'd be like, I'm thinking, okay, Mr. Metaphysics, answer that. Heavy stuff. So it's like, how far advanced are they, and where can they, I can't afford to take the stance of just throwing the towel on the world. It's just, that's what people who ain't got no children, they can do that shit. And they can sit around and grovel and lick their wounds all day. Those of us, it's something. It's a different type of motsy when people got other folk depending on them. There's a different grain fiber essence that develops. We ain't got the luxury of just sitting here and just throwing the towel. Oh, that's fucking. I'm sick of everything. It's like I don't understand people like they don't have the courage to end it all, you know. So they sit around and pout and pontificate, you know. I got off my point though. The point is, what can we actually do with the right now? That's the point. Hit me up, info at mastersofthecosmos.com. Just let me know that you want one. If you want to, you can tell me why you want it, or what anything about your journey, whatever. Anything, as long as it's not in the length of a book, but sometimes it's good to know that these are, real live people out there. So that's why I'm saying, instead of just sending you, I could have my webmaster just post it on the website. You click, pay, move. It's a much easier route, but I don't really cater to that audience, obviously, with this type of material that just discussed on this channel. So I'm not feeling compelled to try to entice the audience with a very short and meager attention span. I fucks with y'all. Y'all have sat on here for 119 minutes according to this clock. I guess it was coming up on 2 hours. It's 1:33. I ain't even gonna want to get up in the morning. So this is the audience I'm catering to. Let's see. Somebody had, I thought, a comment popped up. He says, we have a client that has a psychology of color reference sheet. They design logos. You want me to send a picture? Sure. DJ Neo Shaman, what's up? Spells are cast in churches and are binding subconsciously. Facts. Drink distilled water. Okay. Let's see. I guess that's all I got. It needs to be all I got, because I got to go to sleep. That's going to wrap it up. We'll come back and chat some more. I'd like to do this again. Just informal, just kind of, sometimes I don't feel like actually putting a presentation together. Just kind of like a live brainstorming type thing, Why not? All right. Well, y'all stay down till you get up. When you get up, stay down. Hit me up if you want to get one of these. 1111. Peace.